At Katie_B_97, is it possible to reverse the reactions experienced with FODMAPs so they can be tolerated again? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, FODMAPs are fructooligosaccharides foods. So things like, they're foods that contain fructooligosaccharides, which is a type of fibre. So things like leeks have a lot, onions have a lot, garlic, lots of things that people love. It's quite a difficult food group to remove because it's I don't know, I find it very hard to tell people to cut those out. Okay, so what I would do, so yes, absolutely it is. What the FODMAPs, if you're reacting to FODMAPs, it's usually because your fibre is quite low in your diet. So I would, if I'm putting someone on a FODMAP, I only usually do it for a short period of time. I'd get them to remove all the FODMAPs, and I do a 5R. So I had to write it down because I'd forgotten. Remove, replace, re-inoculate, repair and rebalance. So you remove the things that are creating it, then you replace them with things like, so you help to put in the probiotics and things like that, and also this is where we put in digestive enzymes and HCl. Then we re-inoculate with the probiotics, then we replace the foods. We repair with things like glutamine, slippery elm. We try to get the gut wall working better so that when you're breaking things down, it's not irritating your system. And then we rebalance it with whatever, whether it was stress or whatever was causing the gut to be a bit sort of temperamental. And then hopefully after we've done all of that, then your gut will be in a much better place, and we can start reintroducing the FODMAP foods back in one at a time. Okay, so I hope that helps. And then Kate.A.T.E.B. Hi Rosemary, are there any supplements you recommend to take for general overall health each month? Thank you. Well, you should be able to get everything from your diet, but I also understand that we live in a very high stress, fast moving world. And so, for example, our B vitamins get zapped. So, I think if you're, if in certain cases B vitamins a B complex is a really good thing to take. I also think that vitamin D in the wintertime is a really great supplement to take every winter. And then there are things like fish oils, which are really great. If you're not getting enough good fats, because I don't think, and I mean omega-3s here, then I think that's a really good one to take. And you could also take a really good multi if you'd want to. Having said that, if you feel really well and you don't feel any, if you feel fine, energized, everything's working really well, then I wouldn't even worry about it. I'd get it all from your food. And if there is something specific, then as I've said before, I'd go and see someone, because I see so many people who buy so many supplements, and actually it would have been cheaper to come and see me and get the supplements you need rather than buying supplements because you think you might need that one. So try and get it all from your food, but if you don't, those are the sort of good maintenance ones, I'd say. Okay, at Dixie Linda, is it okay not to eat breakfast? Well, yes, is the answer to that. It is. Some people just don't do better. They used to say you have to eat breakfast, it's really important, but actually science shows that all people are different and kind of makes sense as well. So some people work better with breakfast, some don't. As long as you're not getting starving at 11 o'clock in the morning and eating a piece of cake, then, if that's what works best for you, then yes, you're fine. At Shauna_Redmond, beautiful picture. Apart from plenty of drinking water and using serums and moisturisers, etc., what are the best foods to eat to help my skin look plump and youthful? Okay, so what you want to think really is good fats and collagen. So our collagen matrix is supported very heavily by vitamin C. So this is where you want to eat things like berries and peppers and brightly coloured fruit and vegetables to help that. It's actually, going back to eyes, beta carotene is brilliant for the skin. That vitamin A is great for the skin. So brightly coloured fruit and vegetables, really important. And vitamin C to help the collagen. And then good fats like avocados, fish, all those fats, flaxseed oil, even olive oil, coconut oil, really brilliant for helping keep everything moist and plump. So I hope that helps. At 10 Johan, I think that's how you say it. Since having my 2 kids, I've developed rosacea. I've tried different types of soothing creams, but nothing works. Is there anything I should be introducing or eliminating from my diet which will reduce redness and help achieve healthier skin? Thank you so much. Okay, well, I absolutely would treat rosacea from the inside, and I would use an anti-inflammatory diet. So you would remove all the favourites: sugar, coffee, alcohol, cigarettes, dairy for a bit, gluten, wheat. I would actually do just a really anti-inflammatory diet, which is very much like whole food, whole grain, fresh vegetables, fish 3 times a week, with, just very, what you'd expect, just very lovely, broad variety of vegetables and fruit, and good fats. Good fats are really key to helping, sort of modulate the immune system. So do that. You also want zinc foods, so things like oysters, shellfish, all those are really good, or supplement it with zinc. And then what I was thinking of something that you could cut out. Oh no, I know what I was going to say, is nettle. So nettle tea is urticaria is what it's called, and it's very helpful for this. I know rosacea and urticaria are different, but it's quite very, nettle tea is really good for the blood, and it's quite anti-inflammatory. At Mrs. Grainnet, what do you do apart from your celery juice? Well, I'm sure you could probably do something very clever with it, for cooking wise, but actually we don't. I put it on my compost, and then use that on the veg patch. But I will have a look at what other things you could do with it. At John W866, tried melatonin, magnesium, valerian root for poor sleep. No, not great results. Any recommendations? Right, okay, but people with poor sleep tend to have tried, like you say, and so I'm a bit wary about saying what I think without knowing any more about it. What's the cause of it? So my first thought when I read your question was, do you go to bed with a phone, a TV, a computer, having just finished work 20 minutes earlier? Do you know what I mean? What's your sleep protocol like? That's what I thought. It could, because you can try all of, as you said, everything, but if you're not actually switching your brain off and taking some of those lights out of your eyes, make sure that you put your phone downstairs, because I know I'm terrible. It's really hard not to look at your phone if it's right next to your bed, and read a book. Radical, I know, but read a book, take your time, have a bath before you go to bed. All these things, force yourself to do this sleep protocol and see how you get on. At Gemma Brown 11, is bread necessary for health, or are oatcakes and quinoa crackers just as good? Also, any tips on how to make gluten-free bread more moist and less dry? Well, bread absolutely isn't necessary for health. It's just good for the soul. What do I think? And oat crackers are great, and so are quinoa crackers. If you have a problem with bread and wheat and gluten, then obviously it's not great for your health. So then find other alternatives. We started using one called the Heart of Nature, which is a really lovely brand, and they have a pure grain one, which is quite moist. They're always quite dense, gluten-free, because the gluten is what gives it the spring. So without the gluten, they are quite dense. We make a really lovely buckwheat one for the 5-day plan too sometimes, with the bread machine, but again, it's quite dense, but they are very moist. They're just quite hefty, I would say. Claudia, Dr. Gould, have you read the medical medium protocol for thyroid healing and the celery juice phenomenon that is running alongside it? Have you tried it and do you believe in it? I haven't read the book. I've been given it and I haven't read it. But I do understand, I have read about the celery, what the medical medium feels about celery juice. And I did a little post about it the other day. For me, celery juice is brilliant because it's hydrating. It's got silica in it, which is great for your hair, great for your nails. It's got loads of little phytonutrients in it. It's also got celery salt. Obviously it's quite salty celery. So it's good for electrolytes and things like that. So it's a great way to start your day. I don't have any issue with it. I just feel like all vegetables, they've all got something magical about them. So I'm not entirely sold on celery juice being the only way to start your day. You can start your day. It's a brilliant way to start the day, but so would having a cucumber juice or, like having a mixed veg juice. Alchemy Bruton, can you please recommend a good juice cleanse? Yes, mine. In my book Juice, there's a 1-day, 2-day and 3-day juice cleanse. Or alternatively, if you're looking for delivery ones, I think that the Detox Kitchen do one maybe, or Plenish do quite a nice one. T. Faulkner, should or shouldn't my 16-year-old with slight goiter and an overactive thyroid eat? Well, for a healthy thyroid, you need to have a certain amount of iodine, a certain amount of selenium, and a certain amount of zinc. And things that you don't want to be eating when you've got thyroid problems is soy. And also things like cruciferous vegetables, raw, so broccoli, cabbage, all that family. Make sure, it doesn't mean you can't eat them. So I have people say, I haven't eaten broccoli. You can eat it, but you need to get the goitrogens out, or you need to disarm them, as it were. So, and steaming them will do that. And as for the selenium, zinc, and iodine, things like eggs have got all three actually. And zinc oysters, shellfish, and the same for selenium, and selenium is found in chicken. I mean, iodine is seaweed. You don't need very much, but you do need some. At Tally Pastoral, is it okay to drink a glass of red wine daily? So the research on that is that yes, it's fine, but if one glass is more like half a bottle, which in my experience tends to be, then no, you need to give your body a rest of a couple of days. I think if you're having literally one glass of red wine, then that's fine. If not, then you need to just you should try and do 2 alcohol-free days a week if you can. At Lionel Hare, only meat I eat is chicken, but do I have many choices if I want to cut out meat? Hang on, there's another bit to this question. Cut out meat completely, as I don't like mushrooms, aubergine, or most types of bean. So when you cut out meat, the mushroom and aubergine, it's not really, I mean, you can always find a different vegetable, but actually what we're worried about is, what I would be thinking about is protein. Where are you going to get your protein from? Do you like eggs? Could you eat some soy, so some really well-sourced organic tofu, or some tempeh, or fish, shellfish? That's what you need to think about. And most type of beans means you like some beans, and also nuts and seeds. They're a really great source of protein. At Beauty with Cakey, what are your recommendations to reduce processed sugar in the diet without going totally cold turkey, or being too extreme all at once to eventually quit for good? Okay, I would. It depends what you eat. So this is how I would start basically. I'd cut out fizzy drinks. If you drink fizzy drinks, cut them out. I'd replace them with fizzy water and lemon or something like that. People who have sugar in tea and coffee, if you're doing that, then get rid of that. Becky the Brunette, are there any dietary changes you can make to help manage the hot weather other than extra fluids? Yeah, so you could use cooling foods, things like that's why lettuce and salad I think are popular in the summer, because they are cooling. So you could do that with celery, cucumber. They're very hydrating while cooling at the same time. Watermelon's a really nice one. And then also things like gazpacho. A cold soup is very cooling but also nourishing. I think that's actually probably the thing that I'm talking about, is sort of just because it's hot outside, just drinking water. You still need to nourish the body with nutrients. So gazpacho is a really good way of doing it. Miss Grace. Is milk chocolate really bad, really so bad for you? It's anything in moderation is not bad for you, I don't think. The thing that's bad, so it's got dairy in it, which some people don't respond very well with. It's high in sugar. I mean, it's the same old, it's going to create an insulin response. If you're eating a lot of it and giving your blood sugar level a run for its money, then it's not great. There are better options, obviously, out there. I think it just, I mean, how much are you eating? If you're eating a huge bar of dairy milk every day, then probably not great. Your insulin system